I lived in the early 80s, and you can't go bullying a kid out front of houses like this without at least one old lady with a megaphone telling you she's about to call the cops on you.
All the things you were gonna do to me? I was already planning on doing.
Eating the whole bark instead of just the edible inner cambium. Come on, kid. Watch a naked survival show for sake. Also, I see you in the comments already typing that Naked and Afraid wasn't around in 1982. Well, maybe I was talking about the PBS airings of the British nature series Survival, where the people involved were absolutely naked under their clothes. To mothers everywhere, leaving a box cake mix on the counter absolutely counts as getting your birthday child a cake. It's a dick move, but you did get your child a cake, technically.
We're out of eggs, so you'll need to run out and get them.
Okay, well, without the eggs, I have to reverse my previous decision and say that she did not leave her child a cake, even technically. Ho pox bib vowel me. Wait, this kid went to the store for eggs, then baked an entire cake and ate a full piece before even thinking to open the gift? Movie doesn't know how to childhood curiosity correctly. Modern packaging ruining the beauty of the 80s, when you could just open the box immediately without the help of a screwdriver, box cutter, and blowtorch. Less than 10% of the population had VCRs in 1982, and the percentage of single moms who don't even have time to make their kids a birthday cake owning a VCR was even lower at convenient movie bullshit percent. He puts an egg in his mouth and a pigeon flies out, and that's not magic, that's CGI. Not taking the time to shut your shades and get rid of that glare on your screen that is hindering the bullshit crystal clear video of this VHS cassette.
And this is testosterone. My doctor says I'm dangerously close to being a girl.
There are exactly 6 seconds from the time Anton is covered until we see him in this seat. And unless they're doing either version of a Prestige, that is nowhere near enough time for him to run behind the curtain and all the way around to the back of the theater and down the stairs to that chair. And that's even if he somehow avoids doing either version of a Spinal Tap.
I need you to dump Anton, but he's homely. No offense.
None taken.
Stealing jokes from Arrested Development. This copy about Burt and Anton's deal is poorly written, but doesn't really go off the rails until the last sentence, which reads, "This contract signifies a shift from music performers to the world Burt and Anton act has been a crowd pleaser and massive." And there ain't no comma that's fixing that jumbled word salad. As Steve Miller Band's Abracadabra plays, I'm left with only one thought. So how many little kids still want to act like me? I'm a bigger prick than cacti bee. Pretending there are enough tourists in Vegas to fill this room. Pretending to double team a pretty lady live on a stage in front of hundreds of people. Look, I'm not going to spend the whole video complaining about the disrespect movies have for actual illusion execution, but this trick is a perfect example of it. In the real world, this hood is here to disguise the switch with the cloak coverage. Anton puts on the hood, ducks behind the cloak, and an already hooded Burt would pop his head through as Anton escapes, which would be fine, except there's also a switch from Burt to Anton as the cloaked figure already on the stage. So even if the mechanics of a third person are involved and all that movement is somehow hidden enough not to be seen by the audience, there's just not enough time for a third person to replace Burt, Burt to replace Anton, and then Anton to replace the third person. And that's before we get to the conversation where Burt chastises Anton for leaving him waiting on the switch, which makes no sense if Burt's the one who has to get there to replace Anton. The movie is going to make it seem like this show is struggling, but remember this scene here. 10 years into their show, and they are getting a standing ovation.
You just want to get the show over with.
Oh no, after 10 years of doing the same show, they hate each other. Who could have seen this coming, except for any garden variety psychologist or even a decent best friend?
I'm sorry, are we hurting your performance as a walking mannequin?
For Burt to have gone from the good-natured and fun kid and the adult friend who stuck up for his partner 10 years ago when they signed to this bloviating narcissistic asshole in a decade is something the movie will need to do a lot of work to explain. Spoilers, it doesn't. Forcefully undressing someone. Honestly, all these backstage people are complicit in this super manipulative thing the magicians are doing to this woman. It should be noted the crowd for this show, Jane's first show, is packed and appears sold out. After this one bad show, the audiences will disappear immediately, which isn't how things work. Hell, a show that goes off the rails is likely to bring in more audience members in the short term.
Behind you.
He says behind you, and she moves just her right shoulder, and somehow that is enough, and this movie is cheating.
Wow. I've worshipped you for 10 years, and you've just made me hate you in 60 seconds.
Elon Musk.
Man head, lady body!
Not pictured the man head lady body trick.
It's a lot of paperwork.
It's a lot of sex acts.
Pretty sure the number of sex acts wouldn't increase the length of the NDA by anything more than a few lines of text.
Biggest bet in Vegas.
Okay, first of all, that isn't something a person can know. Second of all, this is Vegas. Of course there is a bigger bed in one of the high roller suites. Are you kidding? Sleeping with a bra on. I mean, maybe one of those loose fabric ones that you can tuck under to avoid the skin-on-skin contact, sure, but a full-on locked and loaded bra? No way. Also, letting me tell you what to wear when you sleep. Shame on you.
What the hell is a webisode?
A term that dates your movie squarely in the early 2010s for all of time to come.
If I spend more than an hour away from my kids, they forget who I am and attack me.
Thinking your college girlfriend, I mean your cats, ever cared who you were in the first place. Movie takes over 20 minutes to let Jim start to carry it.
He's shooting his cable show. Steve Gray, brain rapist.
Hey, he stole the name of my slam poetry alter ego. This is f***ing gross. A famous magician that just did a filmed street trick is able to walk away and not be followed or mobbed by fans. They all just stand in the same place, clapping as he walks away.
Good, bad, I don't eat from that tray.
Just once in my life, I hope to have as much fun doing something as Jim Carrey is having being in this movie. Also, Steve Gray is clearly a combination of Chris Angel and David Blaine, and I wish at least one of them had cameoed in this movie.
Hey, any chance I can get you to sign something for me?
It's a release form.
Counting on your audience to follow you to your van so you can get a release signed.
Pretend I'm still here and tell me all about it.
This is definitely the third best rival magicians movie of the 2000s. Having 4 massage therapists work on you all at the same time. Holy shit, Steve Carell was f***ing jacked when he made this movie. It's easy to see why a real magician would be offended by the shtick of a guy like Steve Gray, but why is Burt Wonderstone offended by it? But also, there is no proof that liquid is actually bear spray and not just water. Whoa, this crowd seems a lot smaller than recent crowds. Even last night's crowd. What happened? They haven't even had their entire show falls apart moment yet. Even they seem shocked by the sudden empty seats. The movie never explains how the show went from sold out to only 15% sold in like a day. Why does the owner of a Vegas casino have lollipops on his desk like he's a goddamn pediatrician?
For 12 long days, he's held his urine.
That's not even possible.
You need to do something else, something fresh.
CinemaSins? Oh, he wasn't talking to me. Carry on.
Well, the Vegas sun will effectively turn the plexiglass box into an oven.
Thinking you need a plexiglass box to achieve this effect when the city itself is already an unbearable oven most days of the year all by itself. Who built this f***ing thing? Elmer Fudd? They have glass hanging over the Grand Canyon and glass overhanging from the Sears Tower. And somehow these magicians were sent up several stories for a stunt in a super inferior glass. Ass glass. It's comical, but it didn't have to happen if they'd used real glass experts like that guy on Star Trek IV who gives away the farm for the formula for transparent aluminum.
Your face got me right in the knee!
Funny joke and all, but we all saw that landing and his face got you right in the, well, face. Liar.
Not the Incredible Burt and the Incredible Anton!
The incredible applies to both of us!
Semantics.
Good luck, you incredible asshole!
Me giving my body a pep talk the day after I absentmindedly eat an entire block of cheese somehow makes it into the script.
Anton is gone.
So?
How are we going to do the show without your partner?
We? Who is this we, Jane? Did we miss the part where Jane went from a completely dismissed, casually chosen magician's assistant to a trusted confidant and decision maker? What part of Bert's personality would have ever cared a thing about anything she had to say?
I don't need him and I don't need you!
Well, good, because you don't have either of us.
Except Jane shows up to the next show anyway, and then somehow shows up outside Doug's office while he's yelling at Bert, which would be fine if we had any insight into the thinking or character reasons that drew her back there. Sorry, just realized she's the female lead and is legally obligated to be an empty vessel of plot propulsion until the movie deems otherwise. Carry on. This casino lets Bert do the show by himself scene goes on for anger-inducing amounts of time.
I put away a ton of money.
You put away almost nothing.
This movie relies on a lot of editing-based jokes. I'm not mad, I'm just asking for better jokes.
You can't be magical friends with yourself!
Denying the daily truth of my adolescent special alone time.
You spent $75,000 last month on bed sheets.
This would only be possible if you were buying bed sheets for the entire hotel. It's always fun watching entitled rich people sell things off in order to survive, but this movie doesn't spend enough time on it. Like, this montage ends inside 30 seconds, when it could easily have lasted 3 minutes or more.
So I was wondering if I might be able to crash at your place for a couple of nights.
That's probably not a good idea.
Saying this instead of no and stay out of my life, you oblivious, pompous, nonstop, assault-doing asshole. Movie asks me to believe that Bert dragged all this stuff to Jane's door and placed it around himself like this before calling her to ask if he could stay. Movie is a liar.
I knew right then and there that I wanted to do magic.
Glad you knew, because this is the first the audience is hearing about it. And for what it's worth, still not enough of a backstory to figure out why you're still putting up with this asshole. She turns his dollar bill into a butterfly, and I'm starting to lose patience with this movie. Movie asks me to believe that Bert dragged all his stuff to the hotel door and placed it around outside like this instead of carrying it in as he unloaded. Movie continues to be a liar.
Well, I have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Sweet, good for you, but those are paid for. You get a star when you donate to the nonprofit that runs the whole thing. It's not like an honor thing. I don't respect you anymore after hearing about this. In fact, I think I respect you less, actually. I know we're supposed to feel bad that he's struggling, but Big Lots would never pay out of pocket for a magician to try and boost their paper towel sales. Shit, Bounty would also never spend money on this kind of marketing. Putting a guy on your movie poster that has only made 2 brief appearances in your movie after about 50 minutes.
No, what you're smelling is not barbecue, ladies and gentlemen. It is my actual flesh.
But what about your clothes? Aren't those also burning? I'm starting to doubt any of this is real. Scream snoring.
So this is where old entertainers go to die.
Mistaking this assisted living facility for Branson, Missouri.
Sir, if you would do me a kindness and select 1 card only from this deck.
He's forcing it on you.
Upcoming obvious surprise reveals spectator would be excellent at magic explanations.
People want to think what they're seeing is real magic, not a magic show.
No, people want to see a magic show. If they thought the magician was doing real, true magic, they'd be horrified, not entertained. Burt turns the channel to a conveniently timed commercial for the trick he saw done live, and then immediately to a convenience news puff piece on what his former partner Anton is up to, which I think ups the news position convenience factor exponentially. This movie is like compound interest except for film convenient exposition on TV.
I go to places where the children have neither food nor clean water, and I give them magic.
This movie is funny. Its biggest sin is just a bit of tonal inconsistency. Some scenes like this feel like straight satire. Other scenes, like the puppy in the pants coming up here in a bit, feel more like bits from Airplane or Naked Gun. Then, unwisely, it occasionally veers into rom-com territory. But even if the tone meanders, the movie itself is still funny. Still adding a sin here for the tonal inconsistency.
But the locals are also hooked on a powerful drug called kratomly.
Kratom shadowing.
Want to do some tricks?
What are you doing in my room?
This is the part where the movie will try to show us Burt rediscovering his joy for magic. The only issue is that we never saw him lose it, so we have no idea what psychological or personality-based issues he has to work through.
We could do some tricks together.
The whole point of the kid was so that you could do the tricks without me.
God bless Alan Arkin for now and for always. Ah, yes, the dove out of the salt shaker trick. A classic actual trick that captures the joy of magic and is an actual thing that magicians do.
Honestly, how did you do that? With the bird?
It's partially deboned.
Animal cruelty.
Burt, how are you? Doug, come here.
Doug calls Burt in to chat in person and asks him to do his child's birthday party instead of having an assistant do it because the movie wants to set us up to think he's asking him to come back to Bally's. And that's the exact kind of thing that is less movie magic and more movie bullshit.
I want to show you something that I think will change your mind.
You better come take a look at this cliche.
God damn. That's the worst thing I ever saw in my life.
Let's just pause and give thanks for the fact that Rance has never seen an episode of Ghost Whisperer.
What you do is not magic. It is monkey porn.
Okay, so I agree that Steve Gray is not doing magic, but I'm super curious about the monkey porn analogy, and only for scientific reasons.
Your skin makes me cry.
You float like a feather in a beautiful world. Hey, it turns out Burt is actually amazing at sleight of hand, but still built a show around elaborate contraptions instead of this talent.
Hey, what are you doing here?
I came to visit my grandmother.
Compound interest! Movie is trying to make me believe there is a future for these two, because why wouldn't she give this man, who has been nothing but an abusive sociopathic sphincter squirt to her, a 4th chance?
I had imaginary friends, and even they were mean.
Movie just stole my personal backstory to use for Jane's character. Seriously, one of my imaginary friends was named Tater Tot, and he was a giant potato, and he always called me stupid. Well, who's stupid now, Tater Tot? Who's stupid now? She is falling for him! She is falling for him!
And in a few weeks, I, myself, will be hosting a showcase of Vegas' hottest acts. And whichever entertainer dazzles me the most will be getting a 5-year contract as Doug's headliner.
Is this plot just checking things off a list now? Need a 3rd act final conflict cliche. Just say it into the microphone with no warning with about 20 minutes left. This movie does plot like it's a 20-year-old doing sex. There's an idea of what's supposed to happen, just with zero knowledge of how to do it with any skill.
Look at it! Now look at this! In cursive.
The most unrealistic thing in this entire movie might be that any of these kids has any idea what cursive means.
Have you ever been to a party and someone has on the exact same outfit?
How does half the child audience respond in the affirmative to this? They're 10. How many parties have you even gone to? You can't just give a birthday kid a puppy, man. That's a lot of responsibility, and you didn't ask his parents first. What the hell?
What an adorable little life form. You know, I bet I can make him even smaller.
Movie includes the first 2 sentences my college girlfriend said to me when we met for some reason. I like comedy. Comedy is fun. Sometimes it's outlandish. I like comedy, but I'm still gonna send Burt somehow not knowing there was a dog in his pants for the last 45 seconds. Steve Gray doesn't have any kind of mark at all on his forehead after hammering a nail with it.
If I'd known how much fun it would be to work with a partner, I would have done it years ago.
Post-virginity clarity.
So happy.
This This crying at the table upon reconciling bit goes on for way, way longer than it is funny. I'm shocked none of the other customers have complained about the noise.
That was the one trick we could never crack.
Yes. How do you make an entire audience disappear without them being in on it?
Other than drugging them, you don't. Which is why I'm shocked you even wrote this idea down in the idea book. This trick might as well be putting the audience on the moon until Anton accidentallys himself upon Kratom in Cambodia.
That would be dangerous and also illegal.
She's correct. And the sin isn't so much that the movie lets them do it, it's that she lets them do it with no explanation of why she changes her mind.
We think that you're a hell of a magician.
Really? We only saw her do the butterfly thing with the dollar bill. Other than that, she has demonstrated no magic skills. This trick you're about to do that you've been preparing for isn't even magic and doesn't require her to do much of anything magical. You're just gonna gas everyone and transport them. A team of movers would be as valuable for this trick as an actual magician. Maybe she showed you magic skills, but she didn't really show them to us outside that dollar bill thing. They just offered you a job and now you're kissing him, and I can see a good HR lawyer calling this quid pro quo. Also, this movie doesn't need this romance subplot, but it extra doesn't need them to fucking sleep together.
Touching me where it doesn't feel good.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
This dude thought he was going to win the showcase with jokes like this. Also, Doug said at the birthday party that he'd assembled Vegas's hottest acts to compete for this gig. And I find it hard to believe a guy that juggles ventriloquist dummies made the list.
So prepare to have your brains raped.
Wouldn't be the first time. I went to a conservative Christian college.
Missing all the vital parts of the brain.
Okay, so vital just means that it could kill you. That doesn't mean drilling into a non-vital part of the brain wouldn't affect you. And I realize this is this character's undoing and he's supposed to be as stupid as he is edgy and mean, but I fear he has mistaken what doesn't kill me makes me stronger for an actual law of nature. How's there no blood, though? How did this fucking dude get a date to this thing?
We recently had a falling out.
Yeah, we fell right out of the hot box.
That is a terrible joke delivered terribly, which is why some magicians should just stick to magic and leave the comedy to people who are inherently funny. The f did she do? None of the three of these people were even on stage back at the original competition, but at least Burt and Anton were announced performers. This crowd shouldn't have any clue who Jane is. Why is she taking a bow? The number of people in this auditorium is at least twice as many as were in the desert, but at least they won't use the pre-credits as a way to hang a lantern on how ridiculous this whole thing is. Damn it! She could have chosen any name, and yet she went with the astonishing Jane?
It's 9/11 shit. I don't know. You know, the shit that's going on everywhere.
There will be no biting or scratching, anything that can leave a mark.
You must go through quite a few non-disclosure agreements.
My staff know only what I choose to tell them.
What happened to your hand?
Oh, one of my Bengal tigers has been getting a little bitey lately.
I call the big one bitey.
Congratulations. You were truly brave. I only hope you're ready to face the Hadouken!
And streep and gloopy gloppy. And that's the Swedish national anthem. Thank you for asking.
Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Maybe you need to rehearse sitting in a box, Anton. I don't.
I'm in a glass case of emotion. Stop breaking the law, asshole!
Boring!
How about a magic trick?
It's